Greetings internet, it's Monica, and today I am so excited because I am coming at you with my final book haul of 2020. I cannot believe it is the end of the year. I will probably be saying that quite a few times over the next month or so, but yeah, I'm so excited to talk about these books. And I'm also so excited because the new BTS album comes out in less than an hour. Actually, by the time you guys watch this, it will have already been out. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on the new BTS album. Let's discuss. I'm so excited. I am planning on just having them lull me to sleep at midnight, and I cannot wait. But before that can happen, I need to talk about these books that I have recently acquired, and I'm really excited for this group of books because they are definitely of a variety, a very large range. We've got some fantasy, some YA contemporary, some graphic novels, translated fiction. Very excited for all of these. So without further ado, let's dive in. So this first book, I'm actually partnering with Disney Book Group in celebration of its recent release, and that book is Rebel Rose by Emma Thériault. This is part of the Queen's Council series, which is a YA historical fantasy series that reimagines Disney princesses after the happily ever after as they go into their royal roles. And this one in particular is inspired by Beauty and the Beast. We follow Belle in the midst of the French Revolution. We see her torn between her new royal life and her more provincial upbringing, and it's supposed to be filled with lots of political intrigue and a dash of fantasy. So I think this one just sounds so fascinating. I feel like that question of what happens to the characters in Beauty and the Beast during the French Revolution is one that I have asked many a time. I definitely think this would be a perfect read for anyone who is a Disney fan or who just enjoys books that take classic tales and puts a fun spin on them. So I'm really excited that Rebel Rose is out in the world. If you would like to learn more about this book, I will have info and links in the description box below, and it is out now. The next book is definitely one of my most anticipated releases of this entire year. I'm so excited it's in my possession, and that is Hawke. And this is the third book in the Nevermore series, which is definitely one of my all-time favorite series just ever. It's so good. So Nevermore is a middle grade fantasy series. I would compare it to if you took Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Doctor Who, a splash of Harry Potter. That is the Nevermore series, and it's so good and fun and pure and magical and everything that you could want a middle grade fantasy to be. That is what Nevermore is. It is amazing. If you are looking for a cozy, fun time this winter, this is definitely a book that you should have on your radar if you haven't already. And it's actually the first book in the series. Nevermore is the Magical Girl Society book club pick for the month of November. So if you've been looking for an excuse to read it, you can read it with us. I will have info about that in the description box. But yeah, my plan is to read Nevermore, which I'm currently in the midst of, and then reread the second book and then read this one, because when I read the second book, I really wished that I had reread the first one because it's been quite a while since I first read it. So, and now it's been even longer. So yeah, really excited for this reread and for the third book to be out. I have been waiting for this for so long, and it's just so magical and so good. You guys, you just gotta read it. If you haven't yet, you just gotta. This next book I got because I'm doing a little bit of a fun video that you'll see either later this year or early 2021, and that is K-Pop Confidential by Stephen Lee. This is obviously by the title a K-pop inspired or K-pop set novel. We follow a Korean American girl who goes to Korea and becomes a K-pop trainee, and I'm super interested to see Stephen Lee's take on this world and just how it's all depicted. I think this could be super fun and just candy in a book is what I'm imagining. Just lots of drama and intrigue and glamour. And I'm really excited to see so many Korean authors being able to write about K-pop and just like all the different elements of Korean culture that has seemingly exploded over the last few years. So it's nice to see that we're having own voices authors be able to actually tell these stories and be able to, like, you know, be part of that. So yeah, I love that. I'm really excited and cannot wait for you guys to see what I'm working on for this book. This next book I actually have already started also, and I'm about a third of the way through and loving it, and that is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. Actually, this one and the next book I'm going to talk about are both mystery books for me. So these two, this one and the next one, showed up at my house. I did not order these books. They came from Amazon. There was no note. So someone sent these to me. I assume someone bought them off of my Amazon wish list. And I feel like the worst person ever because I have not thanked whoever that person is. So if this was you, please DM me, comment down below something, let me know so that I can thank you, because I feel horrible. And also you sent me like 2 of my most wanted books and I'm so thankful and excited. So if you're watching this and you just don't want to say anything, that's okay, thank you. But I have been loving Warbreaker so much. This is by Brandon Sanderson. It is a standalone fantasy novel, which, by the way, I feel like people are always looking for good standalone fantasies. I know I'm not done with this yet, so I can't recommend it properly, but like, I recommend it. It's so good. This takes place in a world where magic is based in color, and I never even try to explain the magic system in every video I've talked about this in, because it's very much a struggle for me. Brandon Sanderson makes it so clear and easy to understand when I'm reading it, but then when I have to talk about it, I'm like, color, magic color. But I love this book. We follow 2 princesses from this kingdom that's very like colorless, like just like any color or show of eccentricity is viewed as bad, and they both get thrust into a kingdom where it's the complete polar opposite, and they very much so indulge in all of the magic and color and stuff. So it's really fascinating, super political. The magic system is amazing and so interesting and different. So yeah, if you haven't read this, if you're looking for a good entryway into Brandon Sanderson and Mistborn doesn't appeal to you for whatever reason, I recommend checking out this one. It is such a good time. The next one is Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth, and Emily M. Danforth was the author of The Miseducation of Cameron Post, and this book was at the top of my most anticipated list for 2020, and I'm so excited to have it in my hands. It just sounds fascinating. So there is a lot going on in the summary of this book. Basically, we start off in 1902 following these 2 girls who attend this boarding school for girls. They end up dying mysteriously in an apple orchard with a copy of their favorite book. And then we jump to the future, and this author writes about this school, and it inspires this horror novel. I mean, it's a horror film, and so it's like there's a lot of layers happening, and it's supposed to have a lot of like story within story kind of stuff going on. There's footnotes, there's illustrations. It just seems very magical and whimsical and dark and maybe a little humorous. I don't know. It just sounds amazing and totally unique, and I'm so excited for it. So very happy to own this one. This was also sent to me mysteriously, so if this was you, thank you. Please let me know so I can thank you personally, but yeah, I'm very excited. Then I was also recently sent a collection of Korean graphic novels from Drawn and Quarterly, and I'm so excited about this. Basically, I discovered this book. I'll show it first. It's called Grass, and it is a translated graphic novel from Korea, and it tells the story of a woman who was forced into being a comfort woman during the Japanese occupation of Korea and during World War II. It tells her story, and it also explores a lot of ideas around the ethics of telling victim stories that aren't your own, and it just sounds amazing and really necessary. So I really wanted this one, and it was completely sold out everywhere when I was looking for it. So on a whim, I emailed the publisher, and they were amazing, and they offered to send me this one along with a few other Korean graphic novels that they had translated, and I'm just like over the moon to own these books because yeah, as you guys know, I am in a ongoing, forever, eternal quest to just read all of the Korean literature that I possibly can. So this was definitely on the top of my list. Another one that I'm really excited for is Moms, and this one is basically about these 4 ajumas, which is kind of like a word for like a middle-aged woman in Korea, but there's these 4 women who have just sort of had it with the people in their lives. They are a group of women who yearn for something more meaningful than what the mediocre men they love or their abusive and power-hungry employers can provide. Despite their less than desirable jobs, salaries, husbands, and boyfriends, these moms brazenly bulldoze their way through life, ending up in nightclubs, picket lines, motels, and even the occasional back alley brawl. I love the idea of this. Cannot wait to read it. Would love to see this, like, I mean, I haven't even read it yet, but the concept of this, feel like this could be a great Korean drama. I'm just putting that out into the world. Then I have 19, and this one is a coming of age story that looks at the legacy of abuse, and I believe we follow multiple people within this family. So I'm really intrigued for this one. This one is much shorter than the other 2, but I feel like this one is going to be more of a character study versus like a super plot driven novel. And then lastly, there's Omma's Table. I'm so excited for this one just because of the title. This one is really looking at like food and tradition and family and how they sort of go together. And I mean, I feel like any Korean person, but especially if you are a Korean person not living in Korea, food is such a big tie to your culture. So I'm really excited to read this one and see how it talks about that. Then I got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is the UK edition. It will be my last edition that I will ever purchase, hopefully. Yeah, if you watched my Owl Crate unboxing, you know my whole journey there. Also, if you watched any of my videos recently, you definitely know what this book is about, so I'm not gonna go into it. Is there, oh, I just realized I think that's my last book. Okay, so that was my last book. Sorry we ended on a bit of a weird note, but that's fine. I'm so excited for all of these books and so excited to see what the rest of the year and 2021 brings for my book collection. I'm so excited for all of these books and to share them with you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of them. Are there any that resonate with you or that you're planning on picking up, or are there any that you've already read? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, what'd you think about the new BTS album? Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you also again to Disney Book Group for sponsoring this video. Once again, Rebel Rose is out now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!